Yes, beta, we are live.
Hello, I'm Nazish Naveed from Pakistan. I'm working with women. Hello. Women Ascension is a non-profit organization. The objective of Women Ascension is to empower women. Women Ascension is working under many SDGs which are provided by UN for the development of all different societies. Women Ascension Peace and Justice is working under SDG 16, which is about peace and justice. I'm passionate about supporting women who face daily challenges and injustice, which is why I joined the Women Ascension Peace and Justice. Our webinar on domestic violence is an important step towards creating a safe and more just world for all. This is a critical issue of affecting many women globally. I'm grateful to our speakers who are going to share their expertise and time with us. We have three respected speakers with us. Ma'am Maheen Amjad, who is an entrepreneur and the president of Women Ascension. Ma'am Faiza Mir, professor at International University, Balochistan. Ma'am Mahrukh, Assistant Professor of Economics. My first question is from Ma'am Mahrukh. Can you please explain what is violence? Violence.
Hello, Nazish. How are you? Thank you for honoring me. I'm Mahrukh Zahir. I'm Assistant Professor of Economics, and I'm the first climate change activist from the tribal areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I'm also environmentalist, and I'm working on SDGs. So when you are talking about SDGs, so all of these SDGs are like, you can say they are like one body. If one person is working on one SDG, so he or she should know about the other SDGs also, because the United Nations has given us time till like 2030 that we are going to attain all of these SDGs. But when we talk about Pakistan, so the number of the Pakistan is not going upward. Every year when we do a survey, it's like going downwards. When we talk about violence, so and when we talk about domestic violence, and when we talk about gender based violence, so it's something very common in Pakistan that you'll see on daily basis. It's not like that it's not something that we witness or we see on a monthly basis or quarterly basis. It's something like that every day when you get up, you open your social media and you see news about violence, about domestic violence, like people are chopping off legs and body parts of animals. They are like killing other human beings. If you see, so people are like doing violence in economic terms, in social terms, in environment terms. So if you ask me about violence, so everything, like every single thing, if even it's a word, if you ask me that according to me what's the definition of the violence, so everything that is giving me stress and that is controlling me, for me that is violence. So when any action, like any action that is from monetary, if you talk about monetary terms, if you talk about environment, if you talk about like social terms, culture, race, anything that is not acceptable and that is giving you some kind of tension, and people wants to control your actions, and that is not like acceptable, so for me that is violence. Yes, Rajesh.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. My next question is from Ma'am Maheen. So my question is, what is the male and female perspective about domestic violence and how it draws them to create and tolerate these situations?
All right. Thank you, Nazish Bete, for this question. Okay. This is not a simple answer, but I try to give you as simply as possible. All right, so we have to look at two perspectives here, two different genders, female and male. And when we talk about Pakistan and GBV, so from the female perspective, what they are suffering with is first is societal pressure in which they are taught to tolerate domestic violence. So when they complain about it, usually what our society portrays them as, they are victim blaming. But the level of abuse on ground related to domestic violence, it's much more higher, and it's not reducing with time. When you look into metropolitan cities or rural areas, the number is still the same, it's not improving. When we look towards female perspectives for domestic violence, I think point two, which is very important, is dependency. Because of dependency, they are quite fearful to take step for their rights. So one of the main backbone issue in Pakistan is that economic dependability with their spouses, with the family of the females, create a lot of hindrance towards attaining to reduce domestic violence at home, because we are not improving at all practicing the rights. And overall, if we can see that we as a female ourselves also play a great role in normalizing such culture around us, majority of us, because we don't like to voice up when we see problems around us, call it within the family, relations, cousins, friends, family. When we see things are going wrong, we do not voice up and make things right, because we ourselves are so much caught up with problem of our own. We see that the right to voice up even suppresses, or we normalize this. With time, we advise others to normalize, just go with the flow, because we are fearful ourselves of our dependability on others. So when we talk about female perspective, it's very complex. It's beyond complex, and here comes when people like us can come up with awareness and be the reason to talk about this issue. And my first step always is, when we talk about this problem, is first, please make sure you as a woman are not fearful or dependable on anyone. You should be independent enough to know your rights, independent enough to exhibit your rights, and you have the profile that people see and take example out of you. This is very important. I think the complex chain of female perspective is this. When we talk about male perspective, throughout 10 years of my experience in GBV, is not just only females. Some, it's a very minor cases, but some cases are also there where male are suffering. That's another chapter. But when we talk about looking at perspective of males in relation to the topic what we're going on right now, is number one is power dynamics. I always say that this is the biggest problem, because no one, majority of them are not ready to share the societal gift that male had gotten, that's given the power. Okay, they're not ready to share it. Even though at home, majority of home, decisions are taken by male, only healthy environment include everybody, especially as a partner, they take decisions together. But still, the power dynamic is still there. The societal norm is not mending with time, because it's a pleasure from major societal areas where they can lead, and leading, and when you're not justifying your lead, it's not okay. So we need to voice up around that. Not just that, from male perspective, understand that because there's a power dynamic, and there are some reasons where they love to deny a lot of issues and suppress, because again, we as a woman have normalized a lot of things. So from male perspective, denial, and from female, from us, normalization. It's creating the main problem where we need to sit and solve and have the accountability to address these issues. Because, as Ms. Mahrukh has said, when we look at the progress, especially looking at SDGs, working for gender-based violence, we are unfortunately at the bottom last, and this is not a good news for Pakistan. So we need to work towards that. So I think, as precisely I can do, Nazish Bete, this is the common areas where we are lacking to address.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. It is a great explanation of the answer of my question. So I have one more question from you. What is the goal to understand about this type of problem?
Okay. I think for this thing, Mahrukh also will agree with me that we on ground are trying our best to raise awareness, and we are trying our best to challenge these norms by having healthy conversation, not provoking, but having a healthy conversation where we are making sense of wrongs, what's actually happening in our society, in which we have normalized it. We laugh it out. So we are raising awareness, we are challenging norms, we are also promoting a lot of strategies, how to make our community involved in such conversation or practices by different webinars, having, workshops, um, some networking conferences. We're trying our best to bring in leaders, to bring in on-ground volunteers to support um, improvement around us when it's come to domestic violence. But the problem is that when it comes to accountability, the institutions, when they are responsible to check and balance, it's not there. Okay, we need support from both the end. The one who can take accountability as a whole, who are responsible, and the one who are working towards it. So if we are not getting support from the government to enforce the law, enforce the strictness, in short, enforce the accountability, so we cannot ensure the progress overall. So we are missing that. So that's why we take it as a very lenient subject, and we are enjoying what's going on in our circle. And this is turning into an inbuilt attitude. And this behavior is reckoning not just as us as a human, but also reckoning the face of Pakistan.
Uh,
Yes, please
Maheen,
add. Yes, please add.
Maheen, Maheen, I second you. I second you. You know one thing, when people ask me that there are not enough laws for different things, I always tell them that, when even one single page law is there for anything, it's enough. But the main problem is not even making laws for something. It's like the implementation of the laws. So when we talk about the implementation of the laws, so, like, we are not the bodies who make laws. We are not the bodies who make laws. We are the bodies. Like, being an educationalist, I can do that I can educate people about gender-based violence. I can ask them about violence, that stop violence, any kind of violence. I'll ask them that don't go into these practices, they are not good. But when there is not a proper implementation of the laws, so then it will be just like a mess, that and chaos, just like in Pakistan. That day, like before a month, I was watching a video that somebody from Sindh area chopped off the one of the leg of a camel. So then that camel, she was a baby camel, she was crying, so that, like, the whole thing, I was disturbed for like 2 to 3 days on that thing. Then what I saw, like, it is very normal behavior of the people that they start shooting animals, just like stray dogs. You'll see that people are killing stray dogs without any reason. People are killing stray cats without any reason. When somebody is killing animals, so that is the first start. Then they go beyond from that thing, and then they go to they start attacking human beings. Then, like, if you talk about gender based violence, so Pakistan, I'm not saying that only women are like victims. In gender based violence, every gender, like men are also tortured. Men are like, they are sometimes victims. You can see the minorities, those people whose genders are not identified, or sometimes they are not like open about their genders. So those are the people, those are the minorities you'll find in Pakistan. And those are someone that they are like being harassed and being like they are tortured. They are like, you can see they are raped everywhere. Like, you'll see all these things in Pakistan. Sometimes, like, when I usually talk with people that in Pakistan we are not facing one problem. In Pakistan we are facing like so many problems on daily basis, that there is terrorism, a lack of education. If you see that if you we talk about education, so we say that we are very educated nation, but no, that is not true. Our primary level education, you'll see that people are, small children are going in primary level, then they get drop out at secondary level. When it's come to higher education, very few people are getting higher education. When we talk about violence, so every second person in Pakistan is facing some kind of violence. When we talk specifically about gender based violence, I'm living in Peshawar. In Peshawar, there is a specific area that is like they have that is just for transgenders. If you'll see, there will be boys standing over there, there will be men standing over there. They will be harassing the transgender, as the transgenders are not educated, they don't have other source of income, so they are involved in such a acts and such a practices which are like, you can say, that is also not good for the society. So when I am not saying that being a being a Pakhtun and Khyber from belonging from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, we are facing this problem. This problem is like in whole over the Pakistan. That one of the thing which I see, that why gender based violence is so common in Pakistan is because of the acceptance. We being a female, sometimes even we don't know that what is actually our rights, what are our human rights, what are right. Like if somebody is if somebody is slapping me on my face, and he's my partner, so I feel that this is a very common behavior. If he is giving me any kind of abuse, or if she is giving any kind of abuse, so the partner thinks that this is a very common practice. But unfortunately, most of us, like you can say, like around about 60 to 70% of the people, they even don't know that these practices are not like normal. Why we are accepting the tolerance, why we are accepting the gender based violence, why we are accepting the domestic violence. The domestic violence is not that even your that your partner is only abusing you, or he or she is putting you in some economic crisis or cultural crisis, or in, and they are controlling your behavior. Even your parents, your siblings, your surroundings, your boss, your workplace, they are all like, all of them are part of these things. Anybody who wants to control your acts and your behavior is like, they are in violence, and they are into you can say domestic violence. But the thing is that in Pakistan, if you ask me that the situation of the Pakistan is going to get good, so if you ask me that, my answer will be no. Like, according to me, in coming 100 years, nothing is going to get fixed in this Pakistan, just because of one thing, that we being a human don't want to change our behavior. Until and unless I don't change my perspective and behavior towards specific problems, so I'm not going to find it as a I'm not going to find it as a problem, and I'm not going to find any solution for that problem. In like you'll see on daily basis, women are getting killed, they are getting raped, men are getting raped, children are getting raped. um, all these things are like, all these things are so depressing. So we can like do awareness session, we can do everything, but when the proper implementation stage is the one of the most important thing. When I went to US, so what I saw that their laws are their laws and our laws are like, you can say roundabout they are same, but the one of the most important thing which I saw over there, that was like the implementation. So there was accountability of everything and there was implementation of everything. Unfortunately, when it's come to about implementation and accountability, so we our state is like, we not state, I'm not talking about state, we Pakistanis are not working on that sector, and we have to work on that sector.
Very well said, Mahrukh, and I would like to add one thing. The problem, Mahrukh, I think you would agree with me with this as well, that at home, majority of home, not our places, but majority of our observation when we are working on field, that the problem of raising children over power dynamic
Exactly.
is beyond understanding. They teach from the very young age that
Yes.
the male has to control, the female has to obey. And this thing ruins things a lot. And this is putting a lot of pressure for people like us who are working toward policies which can normalize these behavior, which is genuinely not good. But the elders, they are not okay with that. And here, female, women should support women. Women should highlight these problems and educate their children, you know but here as well, women are more focused towards what about the surrounding peer pressure, societal pressure to mold their home according to societal idealism. So this is beyond our control. So we have to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation at home where we prepare our kids, be it our son or daughters, towards what kind of life they should lead, what is their right. They should understand their faith, they should understand their societal law, and they should have a balanced life where they can stand for themselves. And when the individuals are not properly taught at home to respect themselves, you cannot expect society to respect them. So it starts with you at home. So it's very important.
Maheen, I second you. uh, if you'll see, uh, if you ask someone, if you give them some kind of questions, if you give them some open ended questions, sometimes if you ask people, if you study people, so their behavior is like enrooted when they were child, when they were children, they had some kind of traumas. They saw that, they have seen this thing, that their father was beating their mother, so for them it is a very normal behavior. Their mother was tolerating everything, so for them it is a very normal behavior to women to accept all these things, and to women, like um, women, their mother never raised their voices for themselves. So the if you talk about the males, so males have seen that they must have some kind of traumas in childhood. They have seen their parents, that they were fighting with each other, and their father used to beat their mother, so for them it is a very common behavior. Okay, the next thing is that i feel I feel that being a woman, this is what people call me. Sometimes people don't agree with me, but being a female, I ask other females that we should support each other. And if you are not ready to give a good um, childhood, good manners, good amount of knowledge, and if you are not ready for your children, okay, so don't bring them into this world. It's not like you are only interested in increasing the population of the country. It's more from, it's not just about giving birth to the children. It's like, if you ask me that what is important according to you, so I'll prefer that we should give good education, good growth we should educate our children. And being a woman, it is very important, because the childhood of our children is most of the time a child is with their mother, so she should teach him or her good manners. But unfortunately, when we talk about Pakistan, so in Pakistan you'll see that most of the women are only interested in bringing only children to this world. They'll be like, I'm having two daughters, I want a son. In that scenario, she'll be giving birth to like around about 5 to 6 girls. Then after that, she'll be having one son, and she will give preference and importance to her son, not to her daughters. And like this imbalanced kind of situation starts from there, which growth into a violence, which growth into a domestic violence. So it is very important, according to me, it is very important to give education to females. And it is very important, until and unless if a woman is not ready to give a beautiful upbringing to his or her child, so she should not give a birth to her child. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is according to me. I think this thing.
No, you are right. As
Thank
a mother, you have to be strong. You have to be strong, and if you are a woman, you should make sure other women, surrounding you, they are financially independent, and they
Yes.
are making sure the daughters in their family they are financially independent before they take major decision. This is a very important point, indeed, indeed. Yes, Nazish Beta, we are done with
Yes, ma'am.
the conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am Mahrukh. You added great and amazing information in it.
Thank you,
So
Nazish.
my next question is from ma'am Mahrukh.
Yes.
My question is, how childhood trauma affects the men and women who thinks domestic violence is not a big problem. It is the part of our society and it is okay to be an violator and victim as well.
Nazish, that child traumas, being a child trauma, when we are born and we come to this world, we are unaware of anything. We don't know about colors, we don't know about bodies, we don't know about shapes, we don't know about races, we don't know about religion. Agree? Agree with me, Nazish?
Yes, we
Yes, ma'am.
do.
Yes, agree. So when we come to this world teaches us that what is what and how it can be. Okay, so if I teach you, being a child, that hitting you, not giving you proper food, not giving you proper education, not giving you the proper amount of love is okay. So being a child, you learn these things, that it's okay. If my mother, my father, my sister, my siblings is giving me slap, it is okay. If my parents are not giving me proper amount of food, love, education, they are not giving me the basic knowledge of the society, they are not teaching me acceptance, so it is okay. Okay, so when you get into child traumas, you see your parents, you see your siblings, you see your surroundings. There is violence, there is like violence on animals, you see violence on human beings, there is financial crisis, there is terrorism. I'm specifically talking about Pakistan. You are seeing bombs on daily basis. You are seeing that women are like, men are dragging women on the roads. Like you see people are throwing their newly born daughters into the seas and in rivers and in lakes, or even in Gandhi Nalia. So when you start seeing all these things from your childhood, you think that every action of this society is normal. So what you think, that when I see such a big amount of like violence in my childhood, obviously when I'll grow up, I'll be not different from them. I'll be the same as like them. So for me, if you ask me, so the women and men, if they have childhood traumas are not something to be like you ignore them. No, I usually ask my students that if you have any kind of traumas that is disturbing your peace of mind, that is controlling your action, that is giving you some kind of tantrums, so you should go, you should seek help from your doctors. Because like for me, just because I have sometimes I have mental health issues, so just because if a person like me, if I have mental health issues, because my mental health is very important for me, it is very important in Pakistan. It is kind of taboo when you talk about mental health. People think that it is a taboo, you should not talk about the mental health. For me, before then my physical health, my mental health comes. People should go, they should seek therapies, there should be proper kind of education, there should be psychologists, and there should be doctors, there should be therapists in schools, in communities, in the local tahsils area, that where, and this is the job of the government. When you go to the developed countries, it is the job of the government to provide therapies to the people. So it is the job of the government to provide all these basic health care to the people of their nation. And until and unless in child you don't treat your childhood traumas, so it will grow into just like a monster, and it will not help you out in anything. And the same is, Nazish, I feel very sorry for the women of Pakistan. Like, I feel very sorry for them. Because Maheen, this is like what I think, that financial independence is very n- financial independence is the basic thing. When you are financially independent, so you have the beautiful right of choosing beautiful choices for yourself. But when we are dependent on other male members, you can say, of our house, so gives us very small choices, and then in those choices you have to choose something for yourself. It is very important, being a woman, we should get financially independent. And I'm again and again saying, once I was in some conference, and that was about climate action, and it was about gender gap and something like that. So I was telling it to the male members that we are in no competition with the male members, with the male gender. No. If you talk about Allah, so Allah has said that I have made men in such a manner that they are there to support the woman. So I asked them that we are not in any kind of competition with anyone. We are asking you to support us. We are asking you to be with us. So if you don't heal your childhood traumas, so it will get into something which will be more devilish. And this is what we are like witnessing on daily basis in our country. Pakistan is a very interesting country. You will see everything over here on daily basis. This is what I think.
No, I agree with you. I would like to add one more point, Ms. Mahrukh, to your conversation. Um, Understand that when it comes to faith, when we're talking about Islam, we have to understand one thing, that Hazrat Khadija, she was financially independent and she stayed financially independent. She was a working woman, but that doesn't mean that she was away from her responsibilities. As a woman, we take our responsibilities very seriously. We can multitask. This is a societal norm which is created, that you have to kill your personality and serve the way the head of the family is asking you to serve. So it's more of a like, you are controlling your home rather than leading your home. So we have a problem with that. We are not functioning in the right way. So as a woman to other women, please find out time to balance yourself, to speak for yourself, and talk to your partners, to head of your families, so that we normalize such conversation. And since we don't even have a conversation at home, we don't appreciate if somebody is initiating that talk. So we have to be that change maker at home as well, so that we can bring this conversation on ground. So thank you, Mahrukh, for your input. Thank you, Nazish. It's over to you now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Maheen.
I'm grateful. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, yes, Nazish.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm grateful to you. You are giving this type of knowledge to us, which shows us the clear face of our society.
Nazish, I always ask people that if I ask people that being we should be very realistic about everything, about our goals and about everything. If you ask me, this gender based violence is something which is like you'll see all around the world. Most of the time people even don't report them. In gender based violence you will see something around the world. It's not only about Pakistan, it's about around the world, that most of the people even don't report them. So that's why when we see these statistics, so sometimes this statistic is not the perfect knowledge in the perfect figures. I ask people that until and unless you don't report something, even if you ask me many time, like people had said something, they had said something to me which was not acceptable for me, their actions were not acceptable, but just because I'm a girl and I'm living in a society, if I thought that if I'll raise my voice and if I'll mention this problem to someone, so they will get judgmental about me. So like just like me, there will be so many girls, so many women around the world who will never even raise their issues, who will not even report their issues, because the violence coming from that person, because the violence is coming from that particular person who is your bread earner, who is giving you some economical insurance, who is providing you food, shelter and clothing. So we being a woman gets weak over there. And the other thing is that I ask people that if you see something, in Pakistan you will see this thing, that Pakistan, I always ask people that Pakistan is not name of a male or female, but unfortunately we all are living together. So I cannot say that Balochi, Sindhi, Pakistan, Pathan and this thing, we call ourselves Pakistani because we are living in Pakistan. So the attitude of the Pakistani people towards every problem you'll see, that is not serious. So
Okay,
this
ma'am.
is, yes, so because of that behavior, that behavior, we are normalizing these things. We are just normalizing these things. And if you will normalize violence, if you'll normalize, Nazish, on this platform, I want to say something related to animals. I daily come across, I have like I love animals. So there is a woman, Aisha Chundrigar Foundation. She's from Karachi. So I always post things because being a human, being an animal activist, human animal right activist, I can do this thing, that I ask people that don't do any kind of cruelty with the animals, and I post things on my social media, especially for the awareness that people don't do any kind of violence on animals. So you will see one thing, that the number of the violence is getting day by day, it is increasing, not decreasing. The same thing you'll see in with the women, even with the men, that people are like killing women day by day. The number of the people and the number of the women especially, they are increasing day by day. And I don't know that being a nation where we are heading. I'm just surprised, because being a nation, if we are not serious about anything, our actions are not serious. So you all of we know that where we are nowadays, so we will get in a worse condition than this. It is very important to bring a change in our behaviors.
Okay, ma'am, you gave us your precious time. We had a short span of
Thank you.
time for
Thank
this
you,
info.
Nazish. Thank you, Maheen.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mahrukh. Thank you so
Thank
much for your
you.
input. And
Thank you.
I hope to see Mahrukh, you doing amazing work like you always do on ground. And we hope to get in touch with you real soon so that we can collaborate and work more towards this issue. Thank you, Mahrukh, for your time.
Thank you, Maheen. Thank you, Maheen, for honoring me. Thank you, Nazish. Allah
Thank you.
Hafiz.